Part 5. Furthermore, MGTOWs, the acronym for Men Going Their Own Way, explain that the system is biased against men. MGTOWs may desire to be happily married, but understand that it's nearly unattainable because the system is completely broken. Though I'm not part of this group, I've been encouraged, inspired, and have found fulfillment in watching MGTOW videos. I'm very glad that men are now waking up. However, I'm at odds with most MGTOWs. Here's why. Generally, MGTOWs do not actually want you to go your own way. They want you to go their way. For example, MGTOWs have told me that people with my ideology, which they know nothing about, must not be associated with MGTOW, it's offensive or whatever. Actually, what's offensive is the common MGTOW idea that men should use women for sex, then dump them. That is offensive. Although the MGTOW clique claims that all men who reject feminism are welcome as part of their community, that's untrue. Besides rejecting white nationalists, some claim that MGTOW is incompatible with Christianity. Some say that men who identify as incel are unwelcome. Others say that traditionalists and conservative are unwelcome. Some make homosexual men feel unwelcome. Yet without such men on board, their goal of defeating feminism will never be realized, since without MGTOW, gays are the biggest supporters of feminism. Another counterproductive idea is their advocacy of seeing prostitutes, which empower such women while the men lose their hard-earned money. Another problem is that most men who identify as MGTOW ignore religion, race, culture, politics, economics, and other vital issues. They say that they focus on self-ownership, which simply means withdrawing from women, their theory being that if enough men follow suit, the system will completely collapse and will have to reset in men's favor. The problem is plenty of men are willing to be involved with women even if they are sorely mistreated. So we must be proactive to change society. Specifically, no-fault divorce must end, men's parental rights must be supported, no bias in favor of women, and unsubstantiated charges of abuse, and alimony for women who abandon their husbands, and the definition of spousal rape, reinstate women being given in marriage by their parents, and ultimately demolish feminism completely. Although I'm a men's rights advocate, I'm not an official MRA, as that is another clique I have serious problems with. Another way I differ from the typical MGTOW is that it behooves me to avoid almost everyone, not just single women. That's because the way society treats me is absolutely unacceptable. Why? The world is brainwashed into thinking that being very different equals being a bad person and or has no patience to try to understand others' differences. Many men must go their own way for now. Otherwise, we end up with codependency, seeking fulfillment, personal identity, or approval from others at the expense of our personal well-being. Also, the red pill is not a trap. You can temporarily adopt a red pill lifestyle to conserve your time, financial resources, and mental and emotional faculties when a relationship is impossible, and switch over if opportunities arise. Moreover, you can have absolutely nothing to do with women, yet be a wonderful person. You can do everything in your power to find a woman and be wonderful too. And you can fluctuate between those approaches. Jesus Christ, whom we should emulate, was the ultimate man going his own way, yet he also encouraged marriage for those to whom it was beneficial. So encourage men to go their own way for whom it is appropriate, and implore all men to support men's rights, yet do so without being entrapped in MGTOW or MRA cliques. Hopefully the demographics of such men will change drastically. 3B, logically conceding to singleness. Male salmon relentlessly hurl themselves upstream in an attempt to mate. Many mate while many others smash into the rocks and die. This is understandable. Salmon lack the brain power to properly assess their ability to swim, jump, or determine which areas are safe to pass in order to reach their destination. Those that fail at least make themselves useful by becoming food for invertebrates, eagles, bears, and other fish. Since men who cannot mate are not used for food and possess the intelligence to pursue other interests, they shouldn't continually torture themselves. Sometimes limbs become dangerously cancerous or get gangrene. Although we hate to remove the limb, removing it is necessary to preserve the healthy, functional parts. Likewise, amputating the pursuit of women is sometimes needed to prevent one's whole life from being destroyed. Obvious clues help determine whether you're likely to eventually mate or not. In Yang Ho 1726, Confucian writings, the master said, "When a man at 40 is the object of dislike, he will always continue what he is." This is partly because people often judge men based on subtle variations in personality. This often seems arbitrary, while being a nice person is devalued. The eHarmony Relationship Company turned down a certain percentage of people who filled out matchmaking profiles when there was a strong indication of too much risk for hurtful dating experiences and not enough chance for a successful long-term relationship. Their judgment must be trustworthy, at least as far as not matching you with those in their database, because they gained nothing from turning people away. They would lose money. I don't know if their policy changed. That was a long time ago. But anyway, a backwards man wisely made no attempt whatsoever to pursue a mate for years. Then he matured, got a brand new car, a steady job, his own place, and with the help of a marriage agency got married. Sadly, it ended in divorce. Later, his car got old. He quit working and got on disability and moved back in with his parents. Wisdom again dictated that he make no attempt to find someone. However, if his situation again changed drastically, such as inheriting the family estate, he may pursue marriage, and maybe it's still better to remain single. A woman may not love him, but at least might respect him. Who knows? However, my penniless catatonic friend who never learned to drive and whose family was bankrupt, and his friend who believed in the stork legend, the two men from the restaurant, would be wise to never pursue the opposite sex. Christianity is based on always telling the truth, not creating false hope. In Greco-Roman mythology, King Tantalus was condemned to stand in Tartarus by fruit trees and neck deep in water. Whenever he stooped to drink, the water receded. Whenever he reached for fruit, the trees backed away. From this story comes the word tantalize. Men willingly submit to being tantalized, bewitched, teased, and tormented. Yet they can choose to wake up. Although some young women have ridiculously fancy names, such as Mona Lisa Nightingale Fettuccine, which suggest goddess-like status, thinking of them as Ethel Smith might put things in perspective. Men who are unlikely to successfully mate are those who cannot financially support a wife and children and make them comfortable, and anyone with a severe case of autism, OCD, ADHD, Tourette's, schizophrenia, or similar disorder. Older women are also unable to find someone. Men's attraction to youth is universal. So the odds of a 75-year-old broke single woman attracting a man might be 1 in a million. Unless he's 90 years old in a wheelchair on oxygen and covered with oxygen. By applying logic, we're not concerned about what's possible. We're only interested in pursuing something we're likely to succeed at. We don't search for valuables in garbage dumpsters, although valuables could be in there. Furthermore, complete rejection is a blessing, protecting you from the great sadness of breakups, ongoing aggravation, and save your time and money. Conceding to singleness can save your soul. Perpetually seeking a mate can become an idolatrous pursuit. Besides, the historic church had very strict criteria for what constitutes a legitimate married life, which most people are not meeting. Stay tuned, part 6.